This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome to AGam in Kansas. I'm your guest host, Sam Capoun, and today we're sitting down with Dr. Dan Moser. So Dr. Dan, a lot of people don't really understand genomics. Can you tell us a little bit about it and how it works?
Sure. So genomics is just the idea of DNA testing. It's using a DNA sample from a blood sample or a hair sample, at least in the case of cattle, to identify more about the animal, to try to understand their genetics by studying the DNA. And in the end, that gives us a fairly accurate prediction of what that animal's potential is for a trait like growth or even marbling or reproduction.
So you kind of talked a little bit there about the benefits, but why are people really wanting to do this?
Well, the thing about genomics is it allows us to learn something without taking a lot of measurements, that there's value in knowing more about cattle, whether you're talking about a replacement female and putting her back into the herd, knowing about her potential for siring calves that are more efficient in the feedlot, or her potential for longevity. All those things really impact the profit potential. So helping producers have more information to make those decisions impacts their bottom line.
Now this is a relatively new technology, and I understand that the cost is pretty high right now. Can you talk a little bit about the cost and what you see for it in the future?
Sure. It depends on whether we're talking about a commercial producer versus a registered seed stock producer, and the cost has come down actually quite a bit. That 3 or 4 years ago, producers were paying almost $150 for a DNA test on a registered animal, and now that cost has come down to less than $50.
Wow, that's pretty great.
And in the commercial space, for commercial cow-calf producers, there are a variety of tools, and they run somewhere from $17 to $39 per test per animal, and those higher priced tests give you more information. So the $17 test would give you prediction of some of the carcass traits like marbling and feedlot gain, traits that are hard to measure on the ranch and that a producer that sells their calves may not really know much about the genetics that they have. Some of the more expensive tests are more comprehensive and they get into reproduction, cow longevity, some of those sort of things too.
Now this is really good for commercial producers you had talked about earlier because it's a way for them to trace back the parents of the animal. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so while the trait predictions are interesting, that the other part that people don't think about is just the parentage. So if you're using multiple bulls in mating, or if you have maybe artificial insemination followed by a cleanup bull, that we can use the DNA also to track the parentage of the animals and tell you which heifers are sired by which bull. And so that information you can use in marketing and selection, potentially in mating those heifers as well. So that component also adds value.
Well, it certainly is an exciting technology, and thanks for sharing all the information today, and thanks for joining us on AGam in Kansas.
Here's another gardening tip with Annette Jackson from Jackson's Greenhouse.
Fall is a great time to plant, and if you would like fresh fruit, grapes, or berries to eat next year, now is an ideal time to plant.
We'll show you how, what, and where to plant for a successful crop of delicious, healthy fruit. We have a great selection and great service. Come see us at Jackson's.
Our entire stock of shrubs, roses, berries, perennials, and trees are now on sale at 25% off. Hurry out for your best selection.
Jackson's Greenhouse has what you need today.